think let's get started. So I'll assume you guys are fairly technical, and then I'm not going to go like very low level stuff. But um, what Chandana has told me was that you guys are currently using ChatGPT, is it? With
Yep.
on the web prompt itself, or do you guys have it integrated into the VS Code only on the web prompt? Is it?
Yeah, only prompt we are using.
Okay, no worries. So the plan that Chandana told me was that he's planning to roll out the Claude Code agentic workflow for you guys, and then yeah, for that I bought um, one license. I think it's a pro license, and then set it up myself. So because I set it up everything from scratch here, so that I can show you guys. Let me start sharing my screen. Um, yeah. Let me know when you guys can see my screen. Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. So yeah, so basically it's okay. How do you say this? So it's like basically asking a question and getting an answer versus asking someone to do a job and then let him this carry out and finish the job, and then you check in his work. So basically, that's going to be the future of agentic workflows and agentic AI. And I know, Chandan, you said this is a small team, but trust me, this is the ideal team size for AI powered coding. Um, because my current team, we only have around three developers. Sorry, three front end, two back end, and then the manager and the BA, and that's it. So it's structured in such a way um, that the team size is very small, and we are given all the AI tools that we need. And then going forward in the industry, I think this is going to be the trend. They're going to have very small teams, and then they will be delegating work to the small team. And we closed around 44 tickets for each sprint between just three of us, and then that back end and front end both. But yeah, it's pretty amazing. Like they do give us the tools and they give us the training, and they also expect us to deliver. But now it's like one work item per day, almost, or sometimes two per day. Yeah, so that's the normal cadence that we have now because of AI. Think that's enough introduction. Let's skip
Yep.
through this. Okay. So yeah, Claude Code. So the comprehensive agentic coding guide. So the next generation of command line AI assistants. I'm going to be using the Visual Studio Code integrated version, but we'll I'll show the command line version as well. So let's see. Uh, yeah, do I change this one? Yeah. Okay. So agentic command line, agentic asset. So it'll like it's like you giving the source code and your project to the AI agent, and it will go through everything, and it will make a plan, um, and it will implement it step by step instead of you just asking a question and then getting an answer. The main thing about this is so the main thing about this is called context. So like when you are working on a project, you're building up the project inside your head, right? You know how each part fits together, and then when you're asked to change a certain part, a certain UI component or API call in the project, you know this how it fits with the all the other parts of the project. But when you go to ChatGPT, you be like showing this part of code and say, okay, this is what I need to change. How do I change this? So that's the difference. So that's the power of using this tool, because we are able to give this context. I'll show you how to do that as well in a minute. So that's the main differentiator that sets agentic coding and Claude Code apart, in my opinion. So it has direct interaction, autonomous implementation, and it obviously developer centric. It's a power tool, basically compared to like using a hammer versus a nail gun. So that's the analogy. So yeah, you can basically install it using curl or like brew, and then or either npm, and then just go Claude auth login, and you're able to log in. This is the command line approach. Um, so this is what I talked about when I said context. So there's like Claude MD versus Claude Agents MD. Those are like README files that we use, basically to give context about the project to the AI agent. So basically, the primary role of this. Don't worry about writing any of this down. I'll share all the slides, all the code samples I'm showing you with Chandana. He can give it to you. So just have a look. So yeah, the Claude one is the default role uh, of Claude is to give high-level commands, build scripts, and critical file pointers. The difference between these two files, the Claude MD file, it will be loaded to the immediate context window. So you guys know what a context window is, right? So the context window is like basically like the short-term memory for a AI LLM. In this case, the AI agent. So when you keep asking questions, the context window fills up. So even you must have seen this in chat gpt, so like when you go towards the end of a conversation and you ask something that is related to the subject that you started talking about, it has already forgotten because the context window has filled up. So when we are using the Claude md file, we have to be mindful that it will be loaded into the immediate context. So try to keep it as minimum as possible. So keep it concise, under 300 lines. And then agents MD is a tool agnostic, so there's like it can be used by various agents, like with various different IDEs. And then it will give you like deep dive into coding standards, architectural why, and the projects. So this is like the shared source of truth between different AI coding tools. That's the difference. So this is like how agent MD file would look like. Um, if I'm going too fast, let me know. Okay, so I can always slow down. So a tool agnostic standard for providing deep dive for project context and coding standards to any AI agent. So it will show you what framework are you using, and then language, and then the project. So this is basically what um, tells the AI agent about your project, because every project is different. And obviously, you can ask the agent to do do a deep scan of your code and generate this, and then you can have a look at this and edit this. So that's how I do it. This is an easy way to go about that as well. Um, yeah, this is the same for Claude, but this one will be loaded into the context window. So we have to keep that a little bit concise as possible. Okay, enough talk. I think let's do something. So this is a sample project I've set up. So here, let's say I have a front end. I'm just using Vue 3 and Superbase to set it up. So just this is what you can see already. I created a few Jira tickets. So yeah, I'll come back to that later. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead. So basically, this is the project structure, and then you have the Claude MD file, and then I don't have the agents file here yet. That this file will have like information. This is too big to be honest, but it should be a little bit more. So like let's say this is a party and event hire marketplace, PostgreSQL database, Superbase with the row level security based multi-tenant access control, and you just give all the tech stack, you give all the CLI commands, everything. Same thing for the front end. Um, you just have, I need to trim it down by the way, I just generated it on the fly. So yeah, it will just tell you about the tech stack. So when you ask the agent to do something, this is basically the agent window. There's another way you can use this is I'll go here. If I go to the project, I can actually open it using the command prompt. So if I just type Claude, how to install this, configure this, everything will be in the documentation. So I have a conflicting API key, so I'll just talk about. So you can either put your command here, or what I prefer is I have this Visual Studio extension called Claude, and always it's a official Anthropic extension. I installed that, and then obviously you can go here and then I'm not going to do it now, but if you click switch account, it'll take you to the browser where you can log in and get the token to log into your Claude account. So after that, you can just type everything here, and it's very seamless for me. But some people prefer the command line approach, so you can actually go to that directory here, type Claude, open Claude here, and then keep typing here. Um, so yeah, that's the basic structure. But I'll come back to it. I just want to show you some little bit more stuff. So yeah, so this is the two configuration files. Okay, so the main thing I want to talk about is when it comes to Claude is called skills. So so a skill is like just a modular file, but it's so powerful in the sense that we can actually isolate the normal task that we do. Let's say you want to write the best example I'm going to give today is code reviews. So self code reviews. So if I want to conduct a code review and I have all the code review parameters I want to do the code review with, I would create a skill file for that. And same for it can be customizable according to your situation, but this is one of the most basic examples. So you can have modular skill files that can be extended by skill directories. So basically, it will live in this directory. I'll open a new Explorer. So if you go to your user directory in Claude, there will be a skills directory, and there you can have the name of your skill, and the skill is basically a markdown file. So skill.md. What this file looks like is what makes all the difference. So you can see there's a code review PR changes. You're performing a comprehensive code review of the changes in the current branch compared to the main branch. So it we have to tell them what to do. Basically, we just have to tell them get the diff, analyze all the changes, provide the detailed feedback, file paths and the line numbers. It will take care of the rest, and then all these are code review checklists. So the dependency updates, imports, because if you're doing a React project, this is going to be different. So this is done for Vue. All the guidelines that I have put here, and then of course you can put rules about variable names, and then this is something I don't know, clever or I don't know, silly, but this this set of rules they come from this book called TypeScript Best Practices. So what I did is I got a PDF version of that book. I think I have it yeah, I don't have it here, but so I got the PDF version of that book, and I stripped it down to text, and then I fed the agent the text version of that PDF book, and then asked the agent to come up with the rules that are on that book for TypeScript best practices, and then it just added here. And obviously, you have to read what is he writing, and then review it, and then see it cites which page of that book as well, and then yeah. So these are the some of the ways you can create skills, which is really good for you, and like imagine like like being able to because you always know what you need to check in a code review. You need to check the good code practices, clean code and all that, but sometimes you miss things. So if you just collect all your knowledge that you need to check in a PR and put it to a skill file and then run the skill file, that will be like able to guide you. I'll show you how it looks like in a minute. Let's go to a skill file and I'll show you. So let's say I have this. Um, yeah, I'm gonna open another console here. So let's say I have this branch here called. I'm implementing this ticket called customer and partner registration. So once I'm done with these changes, all I have to do is, I think there's no difference here because I haven't done it yet. Yeah, I just added the Claude file. So yeah, all I have to do is just go here and go PR, and it will come as a slash command here. And same thing in the command prompt. So it'll when you add the skill, it will be here depending on your preference. If you want to work in the command prompt, that's you can do it here. And if you want to work as a integrated plugin, which I prefer, I want to do here. But it will still try to do it, but it will not get anything useful because we don't have any changes. I'll come to do the changes after I show you the rest of the slides. So better prompting. So basically, it's all about what you ask. So it's about garbage in, garbage out. If you don't specify, if you don't be specific about what you need to do in a tool, you always don't get proper output back. So it's all about high specificity. Um, Another practice I would call is called micro prompting. So when you're prompting, always make sure that you try to break it down in your head to some level and then give it to the agent. But with Claude, you can actually ask the agent to do that as well. um, we'll see example in a little bit. So yeah, so define what exactly done looks like. So explicitly state constraints, expected outputs. So when you are done with this, I need to be able to do that. I need to be able to do this in this UI. So that's how you better prompt. So like there's always high specificity. And then of course ask Claude to deeply understand the folder or feature before acting. So yeah, so that's basically and then yeah, this annotation thing I want to show the annotation one as well. So yeah, so before we go to the multi-agent workflows, we'll just look at the one example here. Um, uh, Chandana, can I also show the MCP integration before that? I'm sorry to jump ahead. Um, so or do you want me to just do a normal prompting first?
And we'll go the prompting first and do some sample, then
Okay,
MCP we
okay.
can do later, right?
Yeah, yeah, I already have MCP ready. The thing is
Okay.
like let me okay, sorry. I'm gonna okay, let's say I try to seamlessly integrate this, but I don't know. Uh, I haven't prepared any order or something, so just sorry about that. So you guys use Jira, right?
Yeah, we are using Jira.
Awesome. So let's say you have these tickets created. You have front end tickets, you have back end tickets, and for example, you have this Epic, and this Epic has all these tickets linked to that. Um, let's say you want to work on a ticket, so you pick a ticket, and then front end. I want to implement the registration screen. Okay, so simple example.
Mm.
We go here, you mark it as in progress. And what you do is okay. This is without the MCP. Obviously, without the MCP, what you would do is you just basically copy everything
Yeah.
and then give it here and then ask okay, based on this, do a deep analysis of the code base and come up with a plan to implement this feature.
Mm.
This is the next segue I'm going. Plan mode. So always there's several modes in the editor. Always better to start with the plan mode. So the plan mode is like basically it will not do any code changes even like uh, accidentally. It will always do the analysis, come up with a plan, show you the plan. So basically what you do is you look at the plan and say, okay, do I like it or not? So yeah, on the fear of running out of tokens, I did this beforehand. So this is the plan I created for ticket 21, but this is not how I do it. I'll show you how I did it as well. So basically, it will analyze the ticket, it will give you the context, and it will show you what files is it going to change. So basically, your main job is like supervision. Like you check, oh, for the login flow, he's going to modify this file, and he's going to add that variable, and then He's going to create these types. He's going to add these types. He's going to add these types. Okay. What else is he going to do? And he's telling you everything that he's going to do. You review this. And if there's any changes, um, and you don't think you don't need this type, you just delete it. And then, like that's it. So this is called the review phase. This is the basic thing that they're talking about here. Um, High specificity and then success criteria. Always follow up the prompt and then see what the plan mode generates. Basically a plan.md. So I just use the ticket number there, and then of course after that you go to the implementation verification. But before we go to the implementation, I'm going to take a quick segue to introduce MCP. So I'm going to show you how I use Jira with Claude. So basically, this is how Claude will talk to Jira using MCP. So we don't have to like copy paste anything anymore. So MCP is module context protocol. So this is just a standalone introduction about the MCP. So the Claude Code communicates with JSON RPC using stdin, stdout, and then it will talk to the Docker container, which will run the MCP Atlassian, and then Docker container will call the HTTPS REST APIs to the Atlassian cloud. That's it. And all you have to do is install your Docker desktop. So I have this container already running. So this is the MCP for Atlassian. It has spun up 3 instances so far, but yeah, I don't know. It's decided by the MCP itself. Um, and then of course you install Docker. So this is all just introduction of how to set up the MCP, and then you have to create the Jira API token and then link it. So this is just setup instruction. This is how it looks like. So in your Claude.json, which lives right here, where is it? It's in the user directory as well. So this one. So I'm not going to open this up because it will have my actual API keys. But because you got, so this is what it will look like, and this is a screenshot. Sorry, this is a screenshot of my actual one. So basically, you specify the MCP server, Atlassian command, and then the arguments, and these arguments, the environment variables, you pass it into the container. So basically, this is my username, my API token for Confluence and Jira separately. I'll show you why we need both Confluence and Jira, which is really fun. Um, so yeah, so you just have to configure this, follow these instructions, and once all that is done, what I do is I just go here, I copy the ticket number from the Jira. Um, let's say I want to do ticket number 22 now. Partner for geolocation implementation. And then I want to do what I will do is just, okay, it's not the same as the Mac copy, but yeah, I'll just copy it like this. Let's go here, start a new session, always with a plan mode. Um, have a look at, I'm going to say the ticket number and um, come up with a plan to implement it after doing a deep scan of the existing code base. Always you have to mention that to do a deep scan, otherwise it will just overlook, like, too efficient to save on resources, and then save the plan um, to I always try to use the ticket number, ticket 22.md file. That's it. So you can see actually the, make sure this Docker, or there's another one called I think OrbStack. That's also much faster than Docker Desktop. Like whatever your uh, container um, environment that you want to run your containers in, and then it'll go through the Docker, and it'll um, yeah, okay, it's in Jira. Yeah, it'll call the tool, and it'll actually get the ticket information, and it'll see this is the call. So this is the call that's going out. It'll actually call the Jira, get the ticket information, and to tell you the truth, I didn't even create any of these tickets by hand. All these are done by this NCP tool as well. So this is another thing I would do. So like before I create any of these tickets, I would go here. I would discuss the plan that I have with Claude, and then ask it to break it down, and then ask it to break it down to tickets. Ask it to write the tickets on a readme.md file, and then based on that ticket, I would ask, can we consolidate any of those tickets? And then like, because sometimes he would like, spit out like 30, 40 tickets when you can do the same work in like 20 tickets. And then I would ask what the best sequence of executing those tickets. So for me, it came out and said, first do the back end ones and then do the front end ones. So for a serious solo developer, because I'm working by myself, so this would be your ideal order. So it will give you like 1 to 18. So these are ticket numbers. Based on that, implement this feature before that. So things like that. So basically, that's what it's doing for ticket number 22. It will connect to Jira, get the ticket information, and then write a plan for you. That's where you come in, obviously. Have a look at the plan, read it. If you can't read it like in the markdown format, but I use this website called we call it PDF to sorry MD to PDF. So this one is good, markdown to PDF. So just copy it here, and then you can actually see it, much better. So and you can actually download it as well. I think you're free tier. So you can actually read it much easily here instead of reading the markdown files. So that's basically it. So after you get the plan, you review the plan, you change the plan, and if you're happy with it, then only you say, okay, go ahead and implement the plan. That is good in two ways, because one is um, you save on tokens, and you save on usage. So how much usage do I have I done? So yeah, see, for the planning, it takes a lot of usage out of it, and after the planning is done, like when you're just asking it to generate code, it is much cheaper when you have the plan. But if you just go in the edit automatic mode, it will just plan and code. So it's not very efficient, as well as like it will make a lot of mistakes, because it's making decisions on the run. Whereas when you go to the plan mode, you finish with the plan and then you implement the plan. It's just the decisions are already made, so it's not wasting any memory or tokens on making decisions. It's just going through the markdown documents, implementing one feature at a time. So that's why this approach is better, and this is the approach I currently follow. Um, so yeah, so it's still going. So we just go through the rest of the slides until it's going.
Ramesh, one
So yeah,
question before
yes,
going there. So you are creating a markdown file based on the uh, ticket numbers, right? That means the based on the requirements.
yes.
So if we get the consolidate project, is there any, are we going to update the README MD or just, so it's not affecting if we do one by one, like
Mm.
how we do the integration and then how we, that one will affect.
Okay, so good question. So that's another thing. So if you want to, let's say, yeah, that's another thing I would do. So this is manually editing it locally and then asking the code to implement that plan.
Mm,
But when you do that, you lose the changes that you do locally on your Jira ticket, right?
mm,
So that's one of the main concerns, right? You are raising. So what we can actually do is you can ask the Claude agent to, okay, this is my updated plan based on this Jira ticket. Update the Jira ticket for any missing information based on this plan. Because this is the plan, this is not the Jira ticket. So you understand the difference, right? So this is not the Excel. So Jira ticket is basically like a engineering manager writing it. So I want this to be done, that to be done. But this is like specifying where you're going to change, which file you're going to change, specific to that ticket.
mm,
But the ticket will have high level requirements
mm,
because we assume it's given by the EMs or the customer or anyone can raise the tickets, right? So, but if you still see like, okay, based on the plan, I think the ticket could be updated a little bit to reflect what was missing in the ticket. You can ask the agent to do that, but make sure not to like include this kind of information in the ticket. You know, files to create, files to change. I mean, this is just my opinion
yeah,
and what I think is best practice because I want to keep the tickets generic.
yeah,
Because this is basically specific instruction of how to implement the ticket using the tech stack of your project. So in
yeah,
this case, TypeScript and Vue.js
mm,
and whatever you're using. So that's why I said like when you get the plan, update it locally and then execute it, but you don't necessarily want to upload that plan to the Jira itself. Um, so, what do you mean when you say integration? So,
so
do you
I mean
mean like,
the if we take out the big project, I mean the main
mm,
project,
yeah,
so the ticket can be the small requirement
yeah,
or the function.
mm.
So if we do any changes, I think I don't need to create the MD file, right? That way. Because in the README MD, what we have the README MD?
So that's the basic plan.
Okay,
So
basic plan. Okay.
the plan of what code you're going to change. So the
Right.
ticket will tell you the requirement. Okay. So it's a
Okay.
big project. So you have a team of 5 people. You give 5 tickets to be executed parallelly.
Hmm.
So that's also something you can decide with the Claude agent. You can ask, can I execute these tickets parallelly, or do I have to do it sequentially? And
Hmm.
of course, in Jira you can specify that, right? So
Yeah.
if you go to Jira, like you can go to a ticket and say this ticket has to be done after this.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you can link it like that.
Hmm.
So if this ticket is blocked by something else, so if it is not blocked by something else, if it can be executed and it's in the sprint, it's just a isolated piece of work
Hmm.
that the developer is working on. So this MD file is just for the developer to review before the developer uses the Claude agent to implement it. Is that clear? Or
Yeah. Yeah. Clear.
okay, so this has nothing to do with the ticket. It's just the ticket is basically the requirement and
Hmm.
the high level picture of what needs to happen, what needs to be achieved. This is nitty gritty technical details of each exact thing that's going to change. So
Hmm.
once this MD file is done and reviewed, and you ask the agent to implement it, it's much faster because it will parallelize, like let's say it has to change 5, 10 files. It will parallelize all this file generation code like into like parallel tasks, and it'll generate it like faster than you can even think of typing it. So that's how we the speed up the process. And
Okay.
then obviously comes the code review. So that's why I said that my skill file for the code review is very, very strict. It has a lot of guardrails
Hmm.
just because the job has shifted actually. For a software engineer, what I understand is now I'm babysitting AI and I am reviewing AI work more than typing. So the typing is like it's very cheap now. To
Hmm.
generate code, to generate boilerplate code, that's very cheap. So that's not a skill that nobody wants anymore.
Hmm.
You should be able to read code and like make sure you guide the AI correctly to generate the code that you actually need. And then when it generates, review the code, especially do the code reviews properly, and then always always test it properly, and then submit it. I would say like, is everybody doing? So I'm gonna approve this plan. So it'll just write this ticket to the ticket 22. So this is the previous one, the new one. So it'll write this ticket,
Mm.
and but this one is I have to do this one after ticket 21. Yeah. So it will just ask me to accept it, and then after accepting, also you can just have a read. If you can't read it here, if it's too hard, go to that website, paste it, and read it, so that it will give you a much nicer formatted view. And then, okay, sorry, it's trying to implement it. See, it's trying to go through one by one and then implement all the tasks. And I just stopped it because I don't want it to do it yet.
Mm.
What I want it to do it is to go through ticket 21 because I already planned it out before, and it has to happen according to the plan. So yeah, 21 has to go before 22. Um, yeah, so instead of that, I can just ask. So the ticket 21 has all the changes, just like the 22 you just saw being generated.
Yeah.
Then you go to the edit automatically mode and just push the at sign and then select the ticket. Or you can just say have a look at the um, ticket, and then we can just give the ticket number and implement um, it um, step by step, focusing. You can say focusing on one task at a time. So that's important. One task at a time, so that it'll properly do it. So when you run this one, it'll be much faster than you just asking, giving the giving everything in the first prompt and asking it to generate code and write like plan everything. And because this already has like it just has it is just following instructions now. It is
Mm.
not is not thinking now. The thinking is already done because thinking is expensive. That's what I'm
Mm.
saying. So once the thinking is done, if I then or if, the only thing left is for the developer to just supervise it and let the agent do his job. Obviously, once the code is generated, you have to run the PR skill and then review the code, and that's about it. Yeah, since it's while it's going, we'll just go through the rest of the slides. So yeah, basically implementation verification. Obviously, run the full test suite, execute type checks, and verify linting rules and check the status. Um, Another thing, I think I have already done this in the Claude one. Whenever it finishes a task, we can set guidelines. I'm not sure if I did this. So there's a guideline we can say whenever you execute a task, um, run the unit test, run the type check, and make sure everything passes. So you don't have to give it here. That's what I'm saying. So if you put it in the Claude, those are generic context and generic commands that you always want to run. So you
Mm.
keep them in the Claude code, and you keep these task specific things in this ticket. And once the ticket is done, this you can just get rid of it, or you can attach it to the ticket like the Jira if you want to keep track of it or something. But keep the technical implementation stuff out of the requirement. That's what I'm just trying to explain. But anyway, um, so yeah, and then during execution, you just give it feedback, and then correct it. Also, another feature is if it gets stuck somewhere, if we see two options that it can do, it'll ask you questions. It'll ask you here, there's two ways I can go about this. Can I do it this way or that way? But it usually comes in the planning state because, like, this is already planned out.
Mm.
So that's another feature of Claude. So it'll ask you questions before, because ChatGPT will be like, whatever you give, it'll just, take, and then, always you are right in ChatGPT's eyes, but
Yeah.
in Claude it will always question you back. It's because it's based on the way that it's trained, as I understand. It's like based on like constitution training versus just like um, uh, the pre-training that the chat GPT has gone through. So yeah, there's two different ways that they approach to train these two models, because Claude is specifically trained for high like precision tasks like coding and things like that. So yeah, the phase three is this implementation verification, very important. Do you guys have separate QA people, or like do you guys do your QAs yourself?
Yeah, we have.
Okay. So yeah, I think QA person is very valuable in this workflow. And one thing the QA one of the QA engineers that we have, what he does is he create playwright scripts based on the project for basically for regression, and for new features he would use the ticket himself and generate the playwright scripts, and then use the playwright scripts to test that particular ticket as well. So that's another workflow for the QA. If like if you have a dedicated QA, otherwise if you're doing the QA, you can do the same thing
So,
as well.
so QA is using the AI tool to generate the code, the play scripts.
The playwright scripts, yes,
Okay.
and depend on the code, because mostly the QAs have access to the code as well.
Right.
But yeah. Um, That's all I have for the coding stuff. Is there any questions before I just go to the multi-agent workflows, because this is very small anyway, the multi-agent stuff.
Milan, ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවා මිලාන්, දිල්ෂී, බිම්සරන්.
සිංහලෙන් අහන්න ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෑ මම. මම මේක ඉංග්‍රීසියෙන් කිව්ව මට අක ට්‍රාන්ස්ලේට් කරන්න අමාරු ඉගෙන ගත්ත ටික. ඒකයි ඔව් කියන්නේ.
මේ උතේට අපිට අර ප්ලෑන් අපේ ප්ලෑන් එක මේ හදද්දී අපිට මොනවා හරි චේන්ජ් කරන්න ඕන නම් අපිට ප්ලෑන් MD ෆයිල් එක චේන්ජ් කරන්න පුළුවන්ද? එහෙම නැත්නම් අපි chat එකෙන්ම කියලා එයාටම කියලා වෙනස් කරගන්නද?
ඒකම පුළුවන්. හැබැයි ඉතින්
ඒක
ඔතන
පුළුවන්.
තියෙන්නේ usage ඔතනදී අර tokens and usage ප්‍රශ්නයක් තමයි තියෙන්නේ. ඒතර ඔයාලට කොච්චර API usage එකක් තියෙනවද? ඔයාලට ඒක track කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්න ඕනේ. මොකද මම I ran out of it like 2 times. එකපාරටම කෙනෙකු පැය දෙකකින් ආයෙ reset කරනවා කියනවා. But I ran out of the tokens. I was like, okay, I had to wait another 2 hours to get back to it. ඉතින් ඒතර තමයි ප්‍රශ්නේ තියෙන්නේ. ඉතින් අර මම ඒකයි කියන්නේ අර plan කරලා මේ එකපාර එක ජෙනරේට් කරායින් පස්සේ ඊළඟ පාර ඔයා කෝඩ් ජෙනරේට් කරද්දී අර ෆයිල් එක යූස් කළා ඔයාට යන වෙලාවත් අඩුයි මේ ඔයාට යන ටෝකන්ස් ප්‍රමාණයත් අඩුයි. ඒක තමයි මේ එකම සීන් එක.
එතන රමේෂ් මේ අර MD ෆයිල් එක එඩිට් කරද්දී
ඔව්.
MD ෆයිල් එක එඩිට්, ඒ කියන්නේ අපි MD ෆයිල් එක රීඩ් කරලා එඩිට් කරද්දී යවන කන්ටෙක්ස්ට් වින්ඩෝ එක ලොකු හින්දා නේද ටෝකන් ටික ඉක්මනට යන්නේ.
ඔව් දැන් මෙතනදී ටෝකන් ටික ඉක්මනට යනවා කියන්නේ මෙහෙමයි. දැන් මෙතනදී ඔයා එඩිට් කරද්දී දැන් අර එයාට ආයි හිතන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. ඒතර අර මේ එතරයි මං කියන්නේ. දැන් ටෝකන්ස් කියවට දැන් මේ ටෝකන් වින්ඩෝ එක නෙමෙයි මං කියන්නේ. කන්ටෙක්ස්ට් වින්ඩෝ එක ගැන නෙමෙයි මං කියන්නේ. මං කියන්නේ යූසේජ් එක ගැන. ඒ කියන්නේ මොකද මට පොඩ පැටලුණා. ඒතර දැන් ඔයා අර මෙන්න මේක ගැන මං කියන්නේ. account usage එක ගැන. මේක දැන් මෙතන දැන්ට 88% ගිහිලා ඉවරයි. මොකද මම මෙතන ඒ වැඩක් ඉස්සෙල්ලා ප්‍රෙපෙයාර් කරලා තිබ්බින්ද මේ
ස්ක්‍රීන් එක ෂෙයාර් වෙලා නැහැ. sorry.
ඔව් පොඩ්ඩක් මම ෂෙයාර් කරන්න. sorry. So this is what I mean. මේකේ it's already 88% gone. මොකද planning වලට ගොඩක් අර tokens use වෙනවා. දැන් අර ඒ token cost කියන එක කොහොමද මම ඔයාලට කියන්නේ? ඔයා දැක්කද අර Claude ගේ අර multi agent workflow එක ගැන මම කතා කරද්දී ඔයාලට කියන්න හිටියේ. ඒගොල්ලන් use කරලා තියෙනවා agentලා set එකක් GCC compile එක අලුතෙන් ලියන්න. ඒක ලියන්න ගිහිලා තියෙන්නේ ඒගොල්ලන්ට සුමාන 2ක් හරි 3ක් හරි. එතකොට ඒකේ token cost එක මම ඔයාලට search කරලා පෙන්නන්න. ඒක Claude Anthropic GCC compiler කියලා ගහපුවාම token cost එක $20000ක් විතර තමයි ගිහින් තියෙන්නේ. ඒක තමයි මම කිව්වේ. ඒක තිබ්බේ 400 million output tokens, 2 billion input tokens. I think total cost එක 20000යි. Approximately 20,000. මේක පට්ට ලාභයි. මොකද GCC compiler එක මුලින් ඉඳලා ලියනවා ඔකට මිලියන පයින් අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම developers ලා use කරලා කරාන. So this is the API cost. This is the cost I'm trying to reduce. මේ අර making. එහෙනම් I think මට office එකේ නම් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ because they have given us like a max plan or something. So it doesn't run out of tokens very easily. But like depends on the plan you have. But it's even if you have a bigger plan, it makes sense. You like to save up, um, um, not to run out of tokens before your work is done. So yeah, so this is the cost. So agent
රාමේෂ්
generally.
ඔයා මේ ප්ලෑන් එක එඩිට් කරලා ආපහු එක වෙරිෆයි කරනවද සාමාන්‍යයෙන්?
Oh, අනිවාර්යෙන්. Oh.
ඒ කියන්නේ ආපහු ඔයා ක්ලෝඩ් මේ ඒජන්ට් එකක්
මට ඕනනම් Claude එක කියලාම verify කරන්නත් පුළුවන් ඕනනම්. මේ මොකද Claude එක කියලා verify කරොත් හොඳයි. මොකද the Claude has the context about the project, no? So it can easily verify, okay, this plan, okay, this is good, but you can say like, I don't think we need this type. Why do you think we need this type interface? Can we do it differently? So then the Claude will be like, oh, okay, that's a good idea, or it's a bad idea, or we need this because of that. So that's a conversation you can have. But once you have the plan and I ask you to execute it, the tokens it consumes is far less than you just asking it to plan and generate code at the same time. That's what I'm trying to tell. But yeah, this is the proven thing. This is the best practice that we were taught to follow when we were introduced these tools. So this is just passing it on to you. Yeah, so basically we have a registration screen now. So it has already done the work, implemented the registration while we were talking, and you can register as a customer, or you can just register as a partner. So yeah, obviously this is just a toy example. You have to go back and check your code, and then it'll just to make sure it works the way you want and all that. Oh, එච්චර තමයි මට කියන්න තියෙන්නේ. මම ඔක්කොම sample code එකයි මේකයි ඔක්කොම ඔයගලන්ට දෙන්නම් චන්දන ඔයාලට දෙන්නම් ඔයාලක use කරන්න ඕන විදියට.
Right.
This thing, the next thing is called advanced strategies. මේ multi agent workflow මේක ටිකක් ආපුවමත් බයයි. මොකද මේක ආවයින් පස්සේ අපි ඇත්තටම ඕන වෙන එකක් නැද්ද දන්නෙත් නෑ. මොකද this is about actually giving full autonomy. But it's still in experimental stage, obviously. So in Claude, you can actually enable this feature called agent teams. There's two different things called agent teams and sub agents. So agent teams is basically the more advanced version because what happens in the agent team is the Claude will spin up a few agents and the agents will communicate between each other and then report to the manager agent, and the manager agent will do the output. That's how the multi-agent workflow works. Sub-agent is like they are working in their own silos and they will work on their own, but they will only report to you. So you are the manager. So it will not automatically manage. So that one is actually pretty old. So if you go to the Claude Code, you can go to agents. I created 2 agents just for showing you. So you can have. I just created the sample agent called PR Reviewer and DB Code Executor. So I can show you the agent and then what it does. But the thing is, this is like this is something you can actually create using Claude as well. You can go create new agent, and then you can choose whether you use it for personal or project, only a certain project. I'll use it for personal, and then you can actually manually configure it or like generate it with Claude, and then you can write what the agent wants to do. Let's say I want an agent to analyze my this is something like very simple file system for files larger or not so specific. You can be more generic as well for files for corrupted files or something like that. Um, or you can use this for database queries, and then it will generate the agent from the description. And this is not that exciting because it's basically still it's an agent, but it gives you a comprehensive report, but it still feels like you're using the Claude Code itself because Claude Code is itself is agent. It's a built-in agent. So this is like you're creating custom sub agents based on the main agent. But yeah, I just want to cover it for completeness sake. But the real fun part is the agent teams. Let's see if I can. Yeah, I'm going to cancel this out. This is taking too long. Yeah. Yeah. I want to show you how an agent team would look like. Um, you can have like a. This is what I said. So you'll have one central agent, and then you can have one agent doing the database work, one doing the security, one doing DevOps, one doing UX. So you don't need any of us. But yeah, it's not going to be like that anytime soon. But it's going to be like you're going to be at a more higher level supervising these agents. Will be the one setting up these agents. So this is how agent workflow looks like. So if I go to, I already did the setup. I have the document of how to do the setup because you need to run this inside the Linux subsystem for Windows and the Tmux terminal for multiplexing. So I'll just go into the Linux subsystem and then yeah, already here. I just go to the tmux command. I just said the tmux command here. I just keep forgetting it. I just type it. So it's go tmux new s then go agent session. Sorry, not tmux, not temux, just tmux. And then you can launch Claude inside here. So the reason we go to Tmux is like Tmux allows you to open sub terminals inside your terminals. So that's the only reason for Tmux. But there's another one called iTerm 2. You can use that one as well. But this is just for Windows that I use this. And then I prepared this prompt. So I'm gonna copy and paste this one here. Um, so it's say create an agent team to review my front-end architecture. Hire a lead architect for structure and a performance specialist to audit the component sizes. So I just specify how many agents I want. I can say agent team of uh, two or more to review, and that's about it. And then it'll go ahead and it'll spin up the agents. And if you yeah, let's pay to the demo goals that they are kind with me. So they if it works, you can actually see the terminal split up, and you can see the context window of each agent, and then how they work by themselves, and how they report to the lead agent. It's pretty cool. Um, yeah. So that's but oh yeah, another thing about agents, they consume a huge amount of tokens. So so yeah, so this is the team lead. They already created the team lead, and then it will spin up another agent, lead team architect, and then these two people are reporting to this one. So this is the first agent. This is the second agent. This is the lead agent, and the performance specialist. So yeah. So this will go, yeah, so it has,
ප්‍රශ්නයක් නේ ඒකන.
oh, ඒක තමයි. So එතකොට ඉස්සරහට දැන් චන්දන කියලා ඉන්න ඒජන්ට් කෙනෙක් ආකිටෙක්චර් අනිත් අනිත්ගේ නම් ටික මෙතනින් තියෙයි. Nah, I'm just kidding. මේ එතකොට මේ ඒක තමයි. එතකොට දැන් මෙහෙමනේ දැන් මෙතනදී එතකොට දැන් අපි හැමෝම බය වෙලා ඉන්නේ මෙහෙමයි. දැන් මේක වෙනස්කමක් වෙනවා අනිවාර්යෙන්ම. There's gonna be a change of the way we work. මොකද දැන් ඉස්සර වගේ ටීම් එකකට ලොකු ගාණක් ඕනේ නැහැ. ටීම් එකකට පොඩ්ඩයි ඕනේ. හැබැයි එහෙමයි කියලා අපි මිනිස්සුනේ මිනිස්සුන්ගේ අවශ්‍යතා අඩු වෙන්නේ නැහැ. අපිට මොකක් හරි තියෙනවා නම් අපිට වැඩිපුර මොකක් හරි ඕන නම් අපිට ඒක තවත් කරන්න පුළුවන් නම් තවත් කරනවානේ. ඒතකොට දැන් ඒ වගේ තමයි ඉතින් software හැදෙන්නේ මිනිස්සුන්ගේ අවශ්‍යතා මිනිස්සුන්ගේ ප්‍රශ්න විසඳන්න. එතකොට ඒවා ඉක්මනින් විසඳන්න පුළුවන් වෙන තරමට තව අලුත් ප්‍රශ්නත් එනවා. එතකොට ඒවා විසඳන්න අලුත් ටීම්ස් ඕන වෙනවා. හැබැයි ටීම් ස්ට්‍රක්චර් එක වෙනස් වෙනවා. දැන් ඉස්සරහ ටීම් ස්ට්‍රක්චර් එක දැන්ට සාමාන්‍යයෙන් 5ක් වගේ තමයි තියෙන්නේ. 5යි 10 අතර. ඒක තවත් පොඩි වෙන්න පුළුවන්. පොඩි වෙලා එතකොට එක ටීම් එකක ඩෙවලොපර් කෙනෙක් එයාගේ ජොබ් එක තමයි ඒජන්ට්ස්ලා රන් කරන එක. රන් කරලා එතකොට මේ ඒජන්ට්ස්ලා orchestrate කරනවා කියලා කියන්නේ. So agent orchestration. So හැබැයි ඉතින් දැන් තාම ඒක ගොඩක් එක්ස්පෙරිමන්ටල් ලෙවල් එකේ තියෙන්නේ. ගොඩක් මේ ඒජන්ට්ස්ලා ගොඩක් පිස්සු නටපු ඒවා තමයි තියෙන්නේ ඉන්ටර්නෙට් එකේ ගිහලා හෙව්වොත්. දැන් මේ Claude Code එක මම යූස් කරන්නේ ඒකයි. දැන් මොකද මේක ගෙවලා ගන්න ඕන එකක් ඉඳ චුට්ටක් හරි හොඳයි. මේ දැක්කද මෙයා දැන්ට key findings තියෙනවා 5ක්. මේ ඔක්කොම මේ issues ටික හොයලා ඊට පස්සේ ඒ ඔක්කොම report කරලා මට අන්තිමේදී report එකක් විදිහට මේ performance specialist through තමයි එන්නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ ඒගොල්ලන් අතර ඔක්කොම communications ටික යනවා. මට මුකුත් කරන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. මේක තාම experimental. මොකද මේ ඇත්තම කිව්වොත් මේකේ අර setup එකේම තියෙනවා මේ experimental feature එකක් කියලා. මොකද ඒක on කරද්දිම switch on experimental විදිහට මේකට මම අර පෙන්නන්න මම හදපු guide එක. මේකේ තියෙන්නේ Claude Code experimental agent teams through කියලා මේක set කරන්න ඕනේ මේ ගිහිල්ලා වගේ environment variables වල ඒක set up කරලා dash එක restart කරායින් පස්සේ තමයි මේ ඒක enable වෙන්නේ. ඊට පස්සේ Claude install කරලා Linux subsystem එක ඇතුලේ Claude authenticate කරලා මේ වෙට්ටික් කරගෙන තමයි තියෙන්නේ. මම මේ ඔක්කොම ටික share කරන්න. මේ sub agents ලා ගැන මේක තියෙන්නේ. sub agents ලා ඉතින් අර ඇත්තට මේක ඉතින් අර ලොකු වෙනසක් නැහැ. මේ Claude එකත් එක්ක වැඩ කරනවා. ඊට පස්සේ මේක තමයි මගේ output එක. ඉතින් top performance risks priority ඒක එක්කෙනෙක් කරනවා වෙනකොට ඒක වැඩ ටික බෙදලා දීලා ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ input අරගෙන ඒක consolidate කරලා මට final report එක දෙනවා. මේක දැන් මම මෙහෙම කරේ මොකද මට මේගොල්ලන්ට code change කරන්න දෙන්න බය හින්දා තාම. මොකද තාම ඒක experimental feature එකක්. ඒ නිසා agents-ලා use කරලා code change multi agents-ලා use කරලා code changes යන එක තාම sure නැහැ. මොකද සමහරු database delete කරලා තියෙනවා. සමහරු එහෙම පිස්සු කරලා තියෙනවා. ඒ නිසා මේ හැබැයි ඉතින් මේක analysis task එකකට වගේ code review task එකකට වගේ output එකක් ගන්න මේ වගේ එකක් කරන්න පුළුවන්. මේ එතකොට you can get a much more comprehensive picture out of that. That's pretty much it I have. Chandana, do you have anything else you guys want to ask me?
Milan?
ඔව් මේ මට අර අපි ගාව දැන් environment variables .env files එහෙම තියෙනවානේ ඒව security ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැද්ද ඒ Claude එකත් එක්ක ඒක යන්නේ?
So, මොන environment variables
දැන් අපි ගාව සමහර keys එහෙම තියෙනවානේ.
ආ කියන්නේ MCP server එකට මම දාපු එකනේ.
ඔව් ඒ කියන්නේ project එකේ use වෙන keys
project වල මම සමහර keys තියෙනවා Stripe එකේ keys තියෙනවා payment gateways වල.
ඒක මෙහෙමයි දැන් ඔයා ඒ keys ඔයා කියන්නේ JIT එකකට commit කරන්නේ නැහැ නේද?
ඔව් අපි සාමාන්‍යයෙන් නේද දැන් මෙයා code එක අපේ project එක read කරනවනේ දැන්.
ඒක මෙහෙමයි මම අපේ corporate මේකේ නම් දීලා තියෙන්නේ කියලා කියන්නේ Claude is not using your personal data to train itself කියලා. අපිට ඕන නැති මේක hide කරලා කරන්නත් පුළුවන්. But as long as I know like ඒ කියන්නේ මේක upload කරලා එහෙම use කරන තියෙන එකක් නම් මට දැන් තරමින් නම් වෙලා නැහැ. මේ එහෙම එකක් තියෙනවනේ අනිවාර්යෙන් මේක එළියට එනවා. like අනිවාර්යෙන් වෙනවා.
Ramesh, ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ production keys එහෙම use code base එකේ තියෙන එක මේ Claude use කරනවා
මෙහෙමයි කෝඩ් බේස් එකේ permanently නෑ. ඒ කියන්නේ එකක්වත් git commit කරන්නේ නෑ. ඒ git ignore කරලා තියෙන එක දැන් මම මෙතන වුණත් මම මේ මම මේ sample එක පෙන්නන්නම්. oops sample එකක් තිබ්බා ඒක. මගේ ඒකේ වුණත් දැන් මම එකක්වත් git එක commit වෙන්නේ නෑ. මේ git ignore කරලා තියෙන්නේ ඒගොල්ලන් keys ටික අපිට share කරලා තියෙන්නේ one password කියලා password manager කෙනෙක් through. ඒතර මම මගේ account එක through login වුණාම ඒ password manager එකෙන් මට ඒ key එක copy කරලා paste කරලා run කරන්න පුළුවන් locally. ඒක commit කරන්න දෙන්නේ නැහැ කොහොමද? ඒක git ignore එකෙන්ම block කරනවා. මේ එතනින් එහාට key එක යන්නේ නැහැ. හැබැයි අර මල්ලි කිව්වා වගේ එහෙම ප්‍රශ්නයක් වෙලා තියෙනවා නම් ඔහොම keys හොරකම් කරලා ඔක අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම එළියට එනවා. දැනට නම් එහෙම ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. I don't know. You guys booked me for 2 hours, but this is all I have to show.
No, safe side month was them.
Yeah. Just in case, ne.
ප්‍රශ්න තිබොත් එහෙම මිලන් තමයි තියෙනවා. මේ රමේෂ් තව එකක් මේ QA වලදී ඔයා යූස් කරනවා QA එක පොඩ්ඩක් චූට්ටක් එක්ස්ප්ලেইন කරන්න පුළුවන්ද කොහොමද යූස් කරන්නේ කියලා?
QA එක මම මුත් ප්‍රෙපෙයාර් කරේ නෑ මැටීරියල් නම්. මේ QA එකේදී කියන්නේ අපේ දැන් ඉන්න QA එන්ජිනියර් කරන්නේ එයා ටිකට් එක බේස් කරලා තමයි ප්ලේරයිට් ස්ක්‍රිප්ට්ස් ටික ජෙනරේට් කරන්නේ. කරලා ඒ ටිකට් ස්පෙસિෆික් ප්ලේරයිට් ස්ක්‍රිප්ට් එක එයා රන් කරනවා. ඊට අමතරව ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් එකට ස්පෙસિෆික් රිග්‍රෙෂන් ප්ලේරයිට් ස්ක්‍රිප්ට් එකක් එයා ඔල්රෙඩි ජෙනරේට් කරගෙන තියෙනවා. එතකොට ඔයාගේ ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් එකේ ස්පෙસિෆික් ඒවා මේ අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම රන් වෙනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ obviously when you run the ticket specific playwright, you also have to run the regression one. මොකද ticket change එකට අමතර අරකේ ඒවත් බලන්න මොකද change is not breaking anything. So that's basically it when it comes to the QA flow. මේ හැබැයි ඉතින් මෙහෙමයි ඉතින් අර always do a manual run as well where possible. මොකද සමහරවිට ඔකට අහු වෙන්නේ නැතිව තියෙනවා. මේ සමහරවිට අනවශ්‍යවත් අහු වෙනවා. මේ ඒ කියන්නේ අර පොඩි අර resolution එක based එයා open කරන resolution එකේ පොඩි මොකක් හරි අවුලක් තිබ්බොත් සමහරවිට අපි ඒ resolution එකේ කවදාවත් ඒ UI එක run වෙන්නේ නැත්නම් එහෙමත් තියෙනවනේ. ඉතින් එහෙම ප්‍රශ්නක් තියෙනවා. But yeah, for now both approaches are recommended. So just do the playwright run and a manual run as well.
ඒකේ පොඩ්ඩක් වැඩේ easy වෙනවනේ සම්පූර්ණ manual
දැනට any AI tool will get you like 90 to 95% there. It will get you. For the next 5 to 10% you have to do when you get Claude with Claude. එතකොට වාට තියෙන්නේ ගොඩක්ම you'll be doing more supervision and you'll be using skills. Another fun way to use a skill is මම මේ දවස්වල කරන් යනවා මේ අපේ view 2 project එකක් තියෙන්නේ. මම ඒක view 3 වලට convert කරගෙන යනවා. convert කරගෙන යද්දී ඒකට වෙනම branch එකක් තියෙනවා, feature branch එකක්. එතකොට ඒ branch එක මම maintain කරන්න ඕනේ main branch එකත් එක්ක. මොකද main branch එක දැන් තව teams ඉන්නවනේ 60ට අමාර උන් ඔක්කොම code කරනවා main branch එකට. ඒත් මගේ view 3 branch එක merge වෙනකම් මට ඒක main branch එකේට එකතු වෙන ඒවා මම මේකට merge කරන්න ඕනේ. පස්සේ මම ඔක manually කරන්න ගිහපුවම මට මගේ අර normal වැඩ කරන්න යන වෙලාවට වඩා ගොඩක් වෙලා යනවා ඒකට. මොකද එකක් conflicts අනිත් එක ඒ functionality එන්න ඕනේ. මම එකක් manually කරා. හැබැයි කරද්දී මම කරේ Claude එකත් එක්ක එකතු වෙලා. මේ help me resolve this කියලා. එතකොට එයාගේ ලොකු conversation history එකක් එනවනේ. ඊට පස්සේ මම කරේ ඒ conversation එක දිහා බලලා මම කිව්වා okay, have a look at this conversation and everything that went right and went wrong in this session and create a skill file for me. එච්චරයි. එතකොට එයා ඒ skill file එක create කරා. තව එකක් මට පෙන්නන්න උනා මේ Anthropics ලගේ තියෙනවා skill create කරන්න වෙනම plugin එකක්. plugins කියන එක මට පෙන්නන්න අමතක වුණා. මේ පේනවනේ screen එක. මේකේ තියෙනවා මේ තව option එකක් you can go to plugins. මම දාගත්ත ඒ plugin එක කොහෙද MCP hooks, Claude terminals. Okay. manage plugins. මෙතින් මේක තියෙනවා plugin එකක් skill creator Claude plugin කියලා. හැමතිස්සෙම මේ official Anthropics plugin use කරන්න මේ මොකද මේ plugin මේ skill files එහෙම තමන් හදලා use කරනවා නම් හොඳයි කියලා තමයි මම කියන්නේ. මම මේක install කරේ පෙන්නන්න. මොකද මේක use කරන්නේ skill files හදන්න. මොකද මේ ඒකට හේතුව තමයි ඔය ගොඩක් තියෙන skill files සමහර ලොකු skill files තියෙනවා. අපි දන්නේ ඒකෙන් මොකද අපි Claude කියන එකට access දෙනවා අපේ මුළු system එකටම. ඒ skill files maliciously හදපු ඉන්නවා අපිට තේරෙන්නේ නැති විදිහට instructions embed කරලා තියෙනවා. malicious code run කරන්න අපේ මේ crypto wallet වල keys හොරකම් කරන්න එක දේවල් වලට. ඒ නිසා පොඩ්ඩක් පරිස්සමින් ඒ third party keys use කරනවා. මම ගොඩක් වෙලාවට Anthropics ලගේ ඒවා විතරයි ගන්නෙ. එහෙම නැත්නම් මම skill file එක හදලා තමයි use කරන්නේ. එතකොට safe වෙනදා. මේකේ තියෙනවා skill creator කියලා. ඊට පස්සේ ඒකෙන් මේ skill creator එක run කරපුවාම මේ ඔයාලට කියත හැකි මේ මොකද්ද මට කරන්න ඕනි කියලා. මේ ස්කිල් එකක් හදන්න ඕනේ කියලා. ඒතර එයා ස්කිල් එක ඔයාලට හදලා දෙනවා ඒ අවශ්‍ය ෆෝමැට් එකකින්. මේ ඔයා ඩිස්ක්‍රයිබ් කරපුවාම මොකද්ද වෙන්න ඕනේ කියලා.
right.
ඒක තමයි බේසික් ෆ්ලෝ එක.